Okay, so again, we're DKA, and these are the grant programs that we run. One is the Justice Program, the other is the Working with Women Program. And we also have a Dress for Success clothing closet that I'll be talking about also. But basically, DKA is an agency that we help people get jobs that have barriers to employment. So if there's an SMI diagnosis, SMI diagnosis, if there is some barriers like learning stuff like computer classes that they need, other classes that can help with PDE classes, personal development classes, anything that they need to help them get a job faster and keep a job, because a lot of people that have SMI don't have those skills, so we teach them those. But anyway, the Justice Program, the Working with Women program, and the Dress for Success Closet are the grant programs that we have. So the Justice Program is one that Annette Mejia Benitez runs, and basically it's a no-cost program. It's targeted to individuals 18 plus that have previous and current justice involvement, who are seeking employment and stability. The only thing that eligibility is that they are justice involved, and that there's tobacco use, alcohol, stimulants, opioid use. That has to be within a 12-month period post or prior to incarceration. So like if they had, they've been in jail or prison for 5 years, even if they have used 12 months prior to that, they still qualify to get into this program. So Annette works with them, and the length is normally 90 days, shorter or longer depending on what they need. Sometimes she's about to close them out, and all of a sudden they call in like, hey, we need you again. So she works with them. So whatever their needs are, that's what she assists with. The type of things that she does assist with is resume building, employment assistance. She knows many people around the community. Many of you guys know who Annette is, so she has a lot of people that she knows that are looking to employ people. She helps navigate pretty much the system, because when they come out, it's really difficult for them because a lot of things have changed. They don't know how to use cell phones. They don't know how to use computers. Not everybody, but a lot of them, they're kind of lost. So she kind of holds their hand and shows them, this is how we do it. This is, she not only shows them, but she teaches them as well. A lot of them don't have housing, so she'll find housing for them. She'll take them to she'll meet them at the DMV to get their driver's license. There's like so much that she does that helps them get their DES access, anything that they need just to reduce recidivism, to make them successful and keep them successful. She also goes to court with them.
You can ask questions.
Ask me questions. She also goes to court with them because a lot of times it's pretty scary. A lot of them are afraid of going to court because they think they're going to get arrested again. So she'll go with them and explain to them what it is they're talking about, because courtroom jargon is really confusing for anybody. So she assists with all of that.
So great. It's so great. Yeah.
One of her success stories with one of her clients is one of them was with the RED program under the AZ at Works in the Yuma complex. And she was able to get him employment with cell tree towers. Or cell trees, I'm sorry. He came in, he did his intake. She had him apply at different places, and on the same day that he was here, they applied, and then he was offered a job 3 days later. And he's now, of course, a full-time employee. He's received a $1 raise already within a month of being there. And he, after getting his welding certification, which he has been approved of going to get classes for that, he'll get $30 an hour after he completes it. So that's pretty amazing for anybody, but for someone just coming out of incarceration and being so successful, and with her just guiding him along the way, it's pretty amazing. And she also helped him move from one house to another because, you know, with the house that he was living at, it wasn't working out. So she has put him into a house of hope, and now he's thriving. So, and House of Hope has been proven to be really successful to help individuals because not only are they helping themselves, but they're helping each other as well. So kudos to Annette. She does an amazing job of helping them. So next is the Working with Women program. That's the program that I run. And so basically it's for women 18 and over who are in recovery for substance addiction that includes alcohol, tobacco, cannabis, stimulants, hallucinogens, and opioid use within the 12-month period. And so basically it's for women who want to acquire their recovery support specialist certification, so RSS, so they can work in the behavioral field. So this program was specific to women because a lot of stuff there's a lot of programs out there for men, not a whole lot for women. So in order for women to be successful and for them not to go back to addiction and go back to what they were going on their path that we're going to before, this helps get them into a path of behavioral health field so they can grow from there, and they'll get into it with peer support and then move up and just have a career out of helping others. And that's kind of what normally they say when we talk about why they want to do it, is because they know that there is support out there. When they were going through it, they didn't realize how much support is out there for women and others, and they want to give back basically what's been given to them. Yes, Doyle.
Hey, sorry about that. Didn't know if you saw my hand. I was going to put it in the chat. Just real quick, like the previous program, if if these young ladies have been incarcerated, does that time not count if they had the 12 months prior to that?
That's a good question. We do. It's a lot of the women that come to us aren't always incarcerated. A lot of them are just coming out and trying to get into recovery and stay in recovery. But yeah, we do help women that were incarcerated and have had those addictions. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is Linda. This is the hidden, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. How many people do you have as clients at a time? Do you work with just like one person, 5 people, 10 people? How many are in your caseload?
My caseload is usually around 30, 35. It fluctuates. Once women have achieved their RSS certification and have either wanting to continue and get employment, because some people don't. Sometimes they just want to get it, and then sometimes getting a job is a little bit scary, so they want to wait a little bit. But once they feel like they've achieved their goals, then we close them out. And if they want to come back, there's no time frame on which they have to wait. It's, you know, if they want to close out now and come back next week, that's fine.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's really scary sometimes for people because they don't, they want to start something and then they are not sure. And sometimes they don't even get their RSS certification. Sometimes they drop off and then they come back, and we welcome them with open arms. So
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Classes also are resourced out to the community. So it kind of depends on how they want to do classes. Some classes are a month long, some of them are 2 weeks long, some of them are a week long. So it depends. Some of them are online classes. So it all depends. The classes are paid for access. They can pay out of pocket, but it's kind of expensive. But if they don't have access, we can get funding from Pima County One Stop that helps with funding as long as they qualify. So, and it all depends on them. Like I said, if they have a job that they need classes for in the afternoon or in the evening, probably online is best for them. So it depends on what they're looking for.
And where do they get access to the computers? I mean, do you loan them computers, or do you have computer labs, or do they have to have their own computer?
It would be great if they had their own computer. Sometimes they can go to the library. But a lot of people, they use tablets, and tablets are given kind of on the street, every corner. If they have access, they can use their tablet. Some of them have been able to use their phone.
Wow. Oh, great.
So it's pretty amazing. And it's like a Zoom, like the online, like a Zoom one. So they get a lot of one-on-one if they need it, but it's a group setting. And from what I hear, it's pretty amazing. So,
That's
but I
great.
also help with resume building. And after they receive their RSS certification, I help them find jobs. We do resumes, send them out. Anything that they need. If they need a fingerprint clearance card, we work also with Pima County One Stop to try and get that as well.
Yeah, that's great.
So one of my success stories is one of the clients, she came in, did her intake in November 15th of last year, so a few months ago, completed her RSS in December, and then now she has a job working at CBI as a peer support. So in 2 months, she's been able to get through all classes and now has a job. So that's pretty amazing. That
That's
happens from time to
fabulous.
time.
That's fabulous. So how do you find your clients, or do they have to find you?
So we go out into the community. We do a lot of outreach. So we go to different places like shelters, when we go to job fairs, or when we go to different other agencies to do outreach. We do a PRC at parole. So it's just kind of everywhere on the community. They give us a call. Sometimes the clients at work that are doing the program at DKA, we have job developers that help them, and they recommend them as well. So it's just kind of a little bit of everything.
That's great. So people that are members of PCRC that are listening to you right now, they could call you if they have a client that they feel is capable of doing this. They can call you and work with you to get them into your program, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the paper that I've given you also, I don't know if you're able to share with them, or I can share with people also afterwards. That sheet that I gave you, Linda.
Oh, the PowerPoint.
The other one also, that the flyer that I gave you, it has all our information. But at the end of this PowerPoint, I have all of our information also to contact us.
And
Okay.
Anna, if it's okay, I was gonna, share it on Facebook. I just liked your page, and I was gonna share it on the website too. There's a resource page.
Of course.
So I'm adding all the flyers that I get from anybody for that matter to the
Oh yeah,
website. The
I can
resource.
send them to you as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Doyle has his hand raised. Hi, Doyle.
Hello, sorry, couldn't find the cursor.
That's
Real
good.
quick, for these ladies that you're helping out and they're working with to get their RSSs, is there any prerequisite as far as their recovery time, or how or the expectation of working their recovery that they must meet in order to qualify for the program?
No.
So we could have an individual that has been sober for a week and decide to be part of that program, get the RSS, and participate.
Of course, we've
Okay.
had that before, but they also have the screening process that they go through with the different agencies. Sometimes they require them to be sober for 6 months. So it all depends on all of the factors, and if they can't do one, we'll try a different one if they want to continue.
Awesome. Also, another question, real quick, and I'll get out of the way.
course.
Once these individuals graduate, do you have any kind of alumni program or recovery support program to keep them grounded and solid? Because I found supervising peers they're also in recovery as they're working as peers, and they have to be solid in that work in that recovery, because working as RSS can be triggering and have a lot of other issues that can cause them to relapse. So do you guys do anything like that?
So we don't, we keep them for as long as they're comfortable. So once they complete the programs, and they want to stay with us, just kind of as a, kind of like a blanket, we're here for them no matter what. So they can call, they can have their RSS, get a job, and then, they can continue calling us for, support. And we're here for them. But when they do the intake process for any of the agencies, they do a screening process to make sure that they're ready.
Roger that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right.
I have a question before you move on.
Of
What
course.
is, it being an RSS, is that a livable wage?
So it depends. Like a lot of them, they kind of start between $16 and $18, depending on the agency, and they do get, they get to move up also into the agencies. Like, so if they've been peer support for a number of, depending on the agency, also for a number of time, for it could be 6 months or a year, they can always move up into different positions into the agency. So obviously that means more money, right, and use it as a stepping stone towards getting a better position, better wages. But from what I hear from them also, a lot of them, it isn't really about the money. It's basically about helping others and continuing their own sobriety as well.
Okay, thank you. I just didn't even know where the range was, and is it like a sustainable, for somebody to be able to live? And I get the paying back part, but then life happens. So just curious. Thank you.
Definitely, yeah. So and again, it depends on people how they, and I know that things are hard right now, especially everything, all the money, everything's going up, food, groceries, gas, rent, everything is going up. So hopefully they'll get paid more, because it is very, it is a desirable career for a lot of people, especially since, again, they want to help others because people have helped them. So they want to give back. But hopefully more money would come into these programs and pay people a better wage. But 16 and 18 is normally what I see in the beginning. Some of them are 20, and depending on what the position is also, because some of them go from not even going peer to peer, some of them have gone to BHTs. So that's more money as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Does that require longer training, or is it just that they've got a better background of some sort?
I think it's just the better background. And when they go into interviews, it depends on everyone. You know how you have an interviewee and you feel like this is the person that's right for this position.
Right. That's
Mhm.
good.
Yep. Desiree?
Yeah, so I started as a peer support, and there's plenty of opportunity to move up. I went from peer support to correctional health peer support to correctional liaison, correctional supervisor, and now community impact manager. So there's definitely, just with your peer support certification, ways to open up those doors. Just so you guys know, we should be opening up a couple more we call our peer supports community impact specialists. So if you do have anybody that's looking, we are background friendly. You do have to have a driver's license and stuff like that, but I can connect with you afterwards. We're probably on the higher range of pay for peer supports to start, and things like that. So we're always looking for people too.
I'm glad you said that, Desiree, because whenever I speak with women and they do ask that question, I always have you in mind, and I speak to them about your accomplishments. I do.
A whole wide range of doors can open.
I'm like, I know somebody that she's doing this and she's doing that, and they have this hope in their eyes. So I appreciate your story whenever you do talk about it.
That's so great. Great connection.
Doyle. Oh, I see hands. Doyle?
Yes, I'm glad you said that, because let's not sell Desiree short. Because
Right.
Desiree is a remarkable individual, and she has a pretty awesome skill set. And from working with her, I can tell you she's deserved every promotion that she's
Yes.
gotten.
Yes.
So
Wow.
and she's worked hard for them.
Yes,
So
she has.
so yeah, she's it's you if you're dynamic like she is, then yes, the ceiling is out of the way and the sky is yours. But yeah,
Yep.
but Desiree is a unique individual.
Yes, she
And
is. Thank you,
she's
Desiree.
awesome in what she does.
That's
I'm gonna
great.
go get a box of tissues in a minute. Just
Aw.
kidding.
It is true. I don't say your name because keeping you confidential, but I do talk about you every time.
That's so nice.
Aw.
Yeah. Okay, any more
so we have
questions or any more information that we need to share?
just a couple more slides that I have is
Oh,
the
okay,
Dress for
great.
Success clothing closet. So there
Uh-huh.
are we do have a men's clothing closet that's for anyone who wears men's clothing because sometimes women wear men's clothing. But
Mhm.
it's 18 and up for free professional wear. We do have some casual wear, but basically anyone who needs clothes that is going to an interview that would like some clothing, it's totally for free. You don't have to be any of our programs, but basically we just ask that you have an ID. Sometimes people that are coming out of incarceration that are wearing their blues um, don't have IDs, and that's totally fine. We help them. We see them walking past our building, and we bring them in. Hey, come get some clothes, and they're so happy to get new clothes. Throw their clothes in the trash, their blues in the trash, and they're ready for a new start. Um, yeah. So again, totally free. Make an appointment is better. That way, there's time enough for you. Um, and one of the success stories is since we began in April of 2022, like every single month, every single day, every single week, every single month, we keep getting more and more and more people coming in. So the most that we've had is for last month we've had over 60 people, but we keep
Wow.
we keep getting more and more people every single month, and we get clothes from the community. We just got 5 bags from Eagles Wings of Grace. They do women's clothing, and
Uh-huh.
there's been a lot of agencies that are just for women, which is why they created the one for men because there was a need, and we fill that need. So
So do Eagles Wings of Grace give you men's clothing that they get? Is
they
that
get,
what
yeah.
that's what they did? They gave you the men's clothing?
No, well, we get it from different places. Sometimes we get it from Gospel Rescue Mission. We get people
Oh,
coming in and bringing clothes to us. We get different clothing, like Eagles Wings of Grace. They get women's clothing, but sometimes men's trickle in too, so they save it for us. And when
right,
we get
right.
women's clothing, we send it on to them. So
Perfect. Yeah.
and it helps you can see the difference of when they are changing from their clothes to getting professional clothing, nice clothing. They look like a totally different person,
Oh,
and they totally act like a different person. Also, it's uplifting to them. It's amazing for us to see, and it kind of helps them confidence building. Thank you, Annette. It builds their confidence too. So
yeah.
we're grateful to have it and grateful to share um, all of that. And the last slide is just our contact information. So Raylene Francisco is our supervisor. She's the grant program coordinator. Maria Romero, she is in this meeting right now. She's our grant case manager.
Oh, good.
Annette Mejia Benitez, she works the justice program, and I do the Working with Women program. So if you can't get a hold of one of us, you can get a hold of any of us that are here in the program. And if you have any questions, you can definitely ask any that you have right now, or if I answer them, great.
I have one more question. This is Linda. I just wanted to ask, so what kind of clearance do you have to have or Annette has to have in order to go into the actual courtroom with your clients? Do you have any kind of clearance that you have to have or special cards or?
No, I think we're fortunate enough to have people that have asked if we can go in and give out our services. So if
Oh,
they, yeah,
great.
so I don't, do you, Annette? She doesn't need any clearance either. So basically, we go in, we wait and see if there's someone that we hear from their case If they can use our services, we walk out with them and we explain everything to them, like if they need a job, or if they need clothes, or if they need, or if they would like to get into like the Working with Women program. So we give them our information and hopefully they'll call us.
Wonderful. That's great. That is great.
Doyle, thank you for raising your hand, sir.
Yes, I have to first and foremost just sing the praises of Annette and Anna, because here at the Transition Center, whenever we have somebody that qualifies or needs some of the services they've just provided, they're a phone call away. It doesn't matter what they're doing or what's going on. All we have to do is call them. If the individual's here, they can talk to them. They'll talk to them on the phone, set up an appointment. Or the other day, I had Annette actually coordinate driving out to the individual's house today because she talked to her yesterday because the individual had transportation issues. So she went to where she was at, met her where she was
Right.
at, and I hope that worked out for them. So, these guys do outstanding work. So we really
Thank
appreciate what they
you.
do.
That's
We
great.
appreciate it. And
That's
that's the
great.
great thing about us, that we are mobile. So we do go to see people where they're at if they can't come meet with us.
Uh-huh.
Annette is mostly out in the community. So, and she's crazy busy. Her phone is ringing constantly. So if anyone can get a hold of her, which they usually will, again, they can call any one of us and we'll be happy to help.
That's great. One of the things that we're going to be covering today, just briefly, because we're going to have a more complete presentation in March, but the community care out of Access, they're doing a program now, and Marley Rabel is with us. She's going to talk a little bit about it, but they can actually, if you're providing a service, and I don't know what kind of services actually qualify to participate in this program, and you probably have to do a more in-depth kind of connection with Marley, but they do an incentive thing that you can actually get for your program like $17,000
Right.
for the services that you provide. So we did, if you got the agenda stuff, the flyer about the community care program is in there, so
Thank you.
can, yeah. It's really nice that they're finally realizing they should be paying people for the work that they're doing.
And just to chime in, this is Marley with Community Cares. DKA is already on the platform. So
Yay.
Are they? Well,
yeah,
congratulations. Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
great.
yeah, I loved working with Dot. So
Yes.
I'm really glad to see you all presenting today.
Thank you.
Doing a great job too. Okay, have we covered a lot of the details, and we know we're going to get things you can go onto the website, or we can email things out to you, and terrific information. We're just so glad that you were here, Anna and Annette. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you
Glad you
for
were
allowing
here.
us.
Oh, it was great. We knew that we knew the program was good. We didn't realize how good it was until we actually started talking about what you're doing.
We're doing a dance right now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So next up is Aaron Scott and Tony Ruffin with Pillars and Bridges. Are they on? Are they here? Are they with us?
They're here.
Hello.
Is that Aaron?
Yeah, I'm trying to see. It might say Zoom. Yeah, let me fix my name in there. Good afternoon, everyone. How are we doing
Hi.
today?
Doing good.
Good, good. Yeah, just getting the name situated, and I did put my contact information in there. It's great to be here with you all. Thank you for what you're doing. Pima County Reentry. Been around this work for a while, and so just thankful. Thank you for the invitation, Doyle. Thank you for making the connection. Linda, glad to be here with you again.
Yes.
So yeah, we want to go ahead and get right into it. What you're going to hear from us today, we didn't want to have a slideshow or anything of that nature. But what you're going to hear from us about Pillars and Bridges, you're going to hear just a little background from Tony and myself, who we are and the work that we're doing in the community. We're going to share with you kind of the origin story of our organization, share with you kind of what we've done, some of the things that we found, through the work, what
Okay.
we're doing now, and then there is going to be a call to action.
Good.
Can everyone hear me okay?
I think we can. Can everybody hear okay?
Yeah, we can hear you great, Aaron.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So, start off with, just briefly to say that Pillars and Bridges is a nonprofit social advocacy organization, and we're really focused on building relationships between public officials and community members. We believe that, the people, the organizations are the pillars of our organization, of our community, and our aim is to help build bridges between those. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we've done that, and what's going on. But I do want to just quickly turn it over to Brother Tony Ruffin. Tony, if you would just kind of give a little introduction, a little background about yourself and the work that you've been doing, and then I'll do the same, and we'll move on through the presentation.
Well, how's everybody doing? My name is Tony Ruffin. I'm the elder of the group. I'm just kidding. Basically, my background was in activism and advocacy.
Oh, good.
I was out in the community, all the time, every day, that type of thing, day after day, dealing with some of the, let's just say, less accepted people in the community. I went and I actually dealt with, people at the ground level, in gangs, the entire, drugs, the whole 9 yards. And, after time of just doing this work, I figured that the voices from these people, these types of people, is what's most needed in the conversations on a bigger level. So a lot of the things that I was hearing, from Anna, it was really, uplifting to me, because that's our mission, to get the people who've been through things with lived experience, get them a seat at the table. And it just kind of metastasized, into what we have now at Pillars and Bridges.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks so much, brother. And it's been great working with Tony. He's really has a way to really kind of cut through. I don't want to say the nonsense, because everything that gets shared has value, but he has a way to just really make things cut and dry. That really resonates with folks. So I appreciate that. But yeah, my background is in education. I work in the community related to ministry. Was a pastor. My wife and I planted a church about 3 or 4 years ago. Recently, we stepped down. We were able to identify a leader to serve as our successor. We have 2 little children, a 2.5-year-old boy and about a 9-month-old girl. And so the Lord put it on our heart to be able to spend more time there with the family. And so we heed that call. But I also work in the community related to mentorship. We were just at the gun violence conversation last night. If anybody was there, hosted by the Goodwill, but just being reminded about some of these statistics that are going across the country. The #1 leading cause of death amongst Black men being gun violence. Realizing that we're a sizable percentage over the national average in Arizona, with relationship to gun violence and violent crime, and then Tucson is even higher than the Arizona average. And so, working with mentorship, young men, believing that we can empower boys and men and the people that love them by strengthening character and connections and community. And so that's called the Good Brothers Foundation, where we do that mentoring work. But the way I got connected with Pillars and Bridges, actually speaking at a George Floyd visual, and that was where I met. Tony, and Tony came up to me and he said, "Hey, listen, I appreciate what you're saying, and your ability to connect with the audience." And he said, "Hey, we're working on something big right now. It's called Pillars and Bridges. I want you to come check out one of our meetings." and see how you can get plugged in. And so that's how I'm now kind of transitioning to the origin story of Pillars
Wow.
and Bridges. Yep. So what happened was that, okay, George Floyd is murdered, and there's civil unrest. There is uproar, and folks were right in our city. We're saying, hey, how can we get out ahead of this before we start seeing these riots, and this violence breaking out in our streets? And so a gentleman by the name of Cedric Cook got together, put a call out to Facebook, and things get connected, things happening. Lo and behold, he's sitting there with at the time a deputy chief, now the chief of police, Mr. Chad Kazmar. They sit
Yes.
down at length, and from there, Pillars and Bridges was born.
Wow.
We've done, community listening sessions around a myriad of topics. We really were here to be a platform for the
Uh-huh.
community voice. I think that's one big thing that separates us from other advocacy organizations. We don't have our own agenda. We're not a partisan organization. We're here to
Wow.
be a platform for community voice and community issues, all issues from all community members. And our biggest thing is, how can we leverage relationships on any side, on every side of any issue, to help get to those results? Because we just believe that um, the decisions about our community should be shared between the public officials and the community members themselves. So community conversations, relationship building. We've built wonderful relationships with the police department, with the county attorney's office, and really over the last year or so, Pima County Justice Services, and other agencies around the city and around the county. Some of the things that we've found, we found one that, yeah, there are so many different issues that our community is facing, as I'm sure you all know. Most recently, through some of the listening sessions that we did with the Pima County Justice Services Department. And it was really interesting because these themes of issues were recurring throughout any listening session that we had, but around substance abuse, mental health, um, mistreatment around racial kind of disparities, things of that nature, youth with regards to kind of school to prison pipeline, youth engagement, mentorship, and kind of the need for those programs, and then also just justice reform in general. So those are some of the things that we deal with. But the biggest thing that we realized, and how we've now been able to specialize, is with relationship to outreach and facilitation. The outreach can be difficult when you want to get to your targeted populations, but oftentimes it really takes effort to build trust and to develop that relationship. And that's one of the things that's most hard to come by, and something that we're able to specialize in. And then also when it comes to facilitation, being able to move a large group of people through a targeted conversation, making sure
Right.
that folks have a space to be heard, but also making sure that we're able to move the conversation along, not get stuck. It can be a very fine line, right? How do you move through that? But then not only that, maintaining the information that was gathered at one meeting, and being able to drive through, keep that continuity, and keep I'm an athlete, so excuse the expression, but the chains moving forward,
Right.
as you go forward to the next meeting. Because I'm sure everybody here at some point has felt like, are we meeting just to meet, to have another meeting, to get on a Zoom, to meet
Right.
in one? So that's some of the process that we've started to now fine tune, so that we can really, we have a 7-step process where we move from your area of interest all the way through now to a report out about the impact that we've had and the work that we've done. What we're doing
And
currently.
I'm sorry, but how do you measure that impact, or how do you evaluate that? What's the measurement that you use for determining the level of impact?
Yeah, and so this is gonna vary based upon what that topic or what that issue is, you know? And so right now we're currently engaged in looking at reducing the jail population, you know? So really what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the metrics that have been used when someone brings to us now an interest area. We're going to be able to say, hey, listen, what are the metrics that we're
Look,
part folks connected to the resources, and then we're going to be able to show based off of the same metrics that were brought to us, hey, listen, these are the numbers that we're growing, these are the ones we want to bring down, or on the flip side, these are the ones that are low, these are the ones we want to increase. And that's what we do. I'll let Tony, we ready to jump in?
yeah, one of the ways we can definitely tell if we're having an impact is, say, for example, we're working with Justice Services over here, and one of the things we were supposed to find out was how familiar were community members with the programs under the Safety and Justice Challenge, and
good.
and regardless of whether people are familiar with them or not, bringing those programs to them and getting them to start understanding what those programs are is a measure of success. There's a lot of groups that are in here today. I also saw, Damon Holt was on here, and his program, when I first saw that, I just automatically was drawn to letting the community know about it. People getting their rights restored and things like that. That was something that I heard about in the community, from I don't know how many conversations, how important that was. So when I saw that come up, that's something that I just had to jump on immediately. There's other programs that are also in here that could actually use that type of engagement, because for Pillars and Bridges, information is a two-way street. There's a lot of things that the community needs to know are already in existence, but those same entities also need the input from the community to make what they're doing more effective. And that's what we try to be. We try to be that conduit to get those types of conversations together so resources are better spent, not just spent. We like to see progress come from the conversations that we have. And we like to get the conversations that we have moving beyond those areas where they get stuck and where people start having the same disagreements. There was a lot of things that happened in the conversation we had last night that we were saying, okay, we've heard this a million times, so how do we get them to go past where they are now to start thinking about what actually needs to be done to address gun violence? And that's one of the main things that, makes Pillars and Bridges different. We're not going out there to try to tell people what we think. We're going out there to get the community members an opportunity to let everyone else that are that are involved know what they think. It's not about us, it's about the community.
So as part of your strategy to bring people together and have them realize that there are all of these people care about a particular project or a particular problem together. I mean, that they get the awareness of other people care too.
Absolutely. We have the relationships to bring everyone, all the stakeholders together. We have, I mean, when it started out with the police reform we were working on, I had relationships with some of the biggest, defunders that Tucson had, and also having the relationship with the assistant chief at the time. I was able to actually bring them together in a safe space where they could actually, have conversations. For me, that was huge to get those, people from both ends of the spectrum and everybody in between at the table to start talking about why there's so much distrust. And those conversations actually informed a lot of what the chief did once he got in. We were the first ones to actually, kind of say, hey, look, you need to get some officers out in the community to get personal relationships with some of the people in some of these worst areas. Next thing you know, we're looking at their place network investigation. things of that nature. So having these conversations, even if they don't come directly from us, as long as we see our fingerprints on the progress that went along, that's fine for us. I've never been a person who really likes the cameras or likes to be out front. I like to work, from behind and just get the stakeholders there. That's what's important to me, the progress, not the notoriety. I've been out here for almost 8 years and people barely even know me. I'm not a person who's going out there. Now, the people who actually work in this work, they all know me.
Yeah.
The community members, they all know me. But when it comes down to the just the population at large, then I'm a blank slate. Yeah, Doyle.
Hey, yeah, if I could just sing your guys' praise and just kind of emphasize some of the things that we're working with you on. One of the great things about Pillars and Bridges is they really focus on community-centered engagement and community-centered and guided work. As many of us know in these fields, we can operate in vacuums. We can surround ourselves by a lot of agencies, a lot of professionals, and we can come up with all these great strategies, and we can go push them out into and onto the community, where very seldom do we take the time or have the ability to have true, authentic conversations with the populations that are directly affected by the policies that we implement or the programs that we implement. Very seldom, we're getting better now with working with individuals with lived experience and evidence-based practices, but very seldom do we really have the relationships to work with the folks that are really at that grass level. Oftentimes we bring individuals into our organizations that maybe 10 years, 15 years ago, they were at that grass level, or they may have had that lived experience, but they've changed their lives and they've put themselves in an administrative position and they've worked their way up. And sometimes we say, okay, those are our subject matter experts because they had lived experience 10, 15 years ago. It's really vital that we take organizations like Pillars and Bridges that have their pulse on the community and the community information and what's going on in the community and the community's concerns, disenfranchisement, issues, and to be able to just go into the community and say, okay, look, here's an opportunity for you guys to talk directly to the individual who this policy of policing this area or this policy of implementing this program directly affected them and their family member. And here's the feedback you're getting from it. So it's really, really beneficial for us to, as organizations, to align ourselves with agencies like Pillars and Bridges so that we can make sure that we're really implementing and we're hearing from those that our policies, programs, and decisions directly affect, and they have a seat at the table to make sure they're guiding the policies and procedures we move forward with. So I really appreciate both of these gentlemen. And I was really hoping both of them would kind of share their personal stories and how they got into these things. But I know that'll come as a later date. But these guys do great work and we're really excited to be working with them.
Well,
Yeah,
I think it's wonderful that that they're out in the community and that they have that kind of connectedness, that they can generate that kind of trust and that lived experience that they've got to help people really tell them truth about what their needs are and how they feel about some of these issues. I mean, that's one of the funding foundational bricks that we wanted to do with Pima Reentry Coalition, was to get more people, at the table who have lived experience and who can really, what is the saying? It's like nothing without me. Make no changes or make no policies without understanding who those policies are going to impact. So I guess my next question is, it's wonderful you're working with safety and justice. How about some of the other elected officials? Have you had any input?
Very low at the bottom, the door before you do that.
Pardon me? I'm sorry. Oh,
That was just a hot mic. That was just a hot mic,
You want
Linda.
to take that one, bro? And then I'll do the call to action following this.
Okay.
To be honest with you, we've had conversations with everyone from the mayor down.
Perfect.
We've worked with TUSD. We worked with Tanque Verde when they were having their issues. We've just about every official here in Tucson, we've actually, interacted with them on specific situations that they've had, along with, regular community members. A lot of what we do is when community members let us know about a problem, we actually take them directly to the official that's, in charge of that problem.
Oh,
And
that's great.
yeah, so like I said, it's a two-way street. There's a lot of organizations in here that I'm looking at that, I'd really like to work with, to get what they do out there. If more people knew about the programs that are represented right in here, then a lot can actually come from that. But by the same token, there's a lot of people that come through your programs that I would love to work with us, because those are the people who can actually get the best engagement, people who've been there. Those are the
Right.
kind of people that I like to work with, more than anything else when it comes down to my brand of outreach.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we're hoping is that we can find a space where we can start meeting together. I mean, meeting together and meeting, face to face, so that we can have a lot more exchanges um, with the people that are in the Pima County Reentry Coalition, so that there's a more, just a better exchange opportunity to figure out who's where and what kind of things they're doing, and how we can help each other, how we can be supportive.
No, definitely. Yeah, please keep us informed how we can support, how we can be a part of that. We did just want to invite folks. We do have a couple of things coming up in the next few weeks, actually. So this Saturday, there's an event, Unity in the Community. It's hosted by the Goodwill, and the park over on Craycroft. I put my contact information. I can share more specific information if people don't know about it. But what we're going to be doing there is recruiting for the event that I'm going to tell you about in a moment on February 3rd. But we're also going to be just gathering some community feedback. We're going to have a variety of surveys that we're going to be gathering information around, and also just doing some moments to let people to speak their mind and to be heard about some of the different issues that are going on in our community. We have a unique opportunity working with Pima County Justice Services to be able to compensate folks with lived experience to come out and to work towards these efforts with us. So I appreciate what you were saying, Linda, about, folks with lived experience being at the table, that sentiment, nothing without us, and then I also was thinking about earlier as we were speaking, the beauty of what can be accomplished when nobody's worried about who gets the credit,
Yeah.
but we're all pulling on the same end of the rope. So that is going on Saturday, January the 20th. If folks would be interested in coming out and getting involved with us there, you can contact me via email. I put my contact information in the comments there. Then the next one is February the 3rd, Saturday, February the 3rd. We are in the thick of it, working with Safety Justice Challenge to create awareness about the strategies that have been put into place to reduce the jail population, but also to see if there are things that we can do to increase awareness and effectiveness of those programs. This place, more than any, we need to hear from folks that have been involved. And literally what we're coming to do this session, I promise you, this is not a come and let's just talk about how you feel and what you think. While those spaces are very important, those conversations have already occurred. We're coming together on February 3rd to identify what are going to be our next action steps and where we're going to get the resources from to support those, and put those things together so that people can be actively working and pursuing the changes that they wish to see. We still have space available for that session. It is coming by registration. And so if you'd like to be involved or at least learn more about that, if you could just my contact number is there. If you my contact email, if you could just send me an email, I would be glad to send you the invitation. We want you to be there. We want you to be there. And the last thing is just in addition to that, getting participants involved, being able to even compensate folks for the work and the support that they provide, that will be moving forward as well for folks with lived experience in the events and the programs that we're doing. And so everybody is welcome. Please let us know, or if you know somebody that you think might be a good fit for that, please send them our direction. It's such an honor to be able to share a space like this where we know that the room right here, 20, 30 something people, but the folks y'all are connected to, now we're talking about a ripple effect. I'm sure tens of 50s of hundreds of people that are connected to the folks in this room. And I'll leave it with Tony if you had any closing thoughts.
No, I just saw that Doyle had his hand up, had a question.
I know I put both of those flyers in the chat. We got the flyer for the Action Summit and we got the flyer for Unity in the Community are now in the chat. So you guys can go in there and open those up.
Come on, man. Now we cooking with grease.
Yeah.
Let's go, Doyle.
You know,
And we also sent those out with the agenda. We sent those out and sent out information on pillars and bridges, sent out your information. So everybody who's a member of the Reentry Coalition has information. They have the flyer.
And just in closing for me, anyone who is working in any kind of an organization that you think the community really needs to know about, feel free to get in touch with us. We'll work out some kind of way where we can actually get you out there in the community in a different way. We've done, we've put the police doing food drives. I mean, and
wow.
cooking at barbecues, in different parks in the community and things like that. So we have a different strategy of putting people out there in a way that they haven't been before that we think works pretty well. So please feel free to reach out to us if you want any kind of outreach done. I appreciate it.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's great. So I have one other question about pillars and bridges. Is it just the two of you, or is there like a sort of a cohort of maybe 10 or 15 people that work on doing the outreach and tracking some of the information that's brought up?
It's mainly the two of us with with our partners that we usually work with. When we have something to do, it's easy for us to say, hey, look, we got this going on, we're going to need volunteers and things of that nature. Yeah. And we never have a problem getting people to help us do whatever it is we have to do. Our network, as far as our trust in the community, is pretty much, in my opinion, second to none. So we don't have any problems when it comes to things like that.
Are you funded, or who funds you?
Yeah, grant funding, private donations, and also working for other sources of revenue around the consulting and the facilitation and outreach services that we provide.
I'm wondering if the program with if you talked, because I don't know how specific it has to be for Marley and the community care program for you to qualify for that. Those monies that are available. Marley, are you still with us?
Yeah, I am. You don't have to have any sort of specific service type to qualify for the monies. Basically, you just have to be providing some sort of program or service in the community. So, yeah, I'd love to have more of a conversation with Pillars and Bridges for sure.
Because every time they would have a committee or a meeting that could qualify as a community service, right?
There's a lot of different ways in which it sounds like you provide services to the community, so it sounds like it to me.
Great,
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we'll get connected.
Beautiful.
great, great. Well, Marley, we're going to keep you busy.
Good.
Okay, well, thank you so much, both of you, Aaron and Tony, for sharing what you're doing. And I mean, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of courage to step into what you stepped into. Thank you for doing that for Tucson. We need it. A lot of times we're just getting things sort of thrown down from the higher ups saying, oh, this is what you're going to get. Maybe not what you need, but this is what you're going to get. So thank you for reaching out and doing this. Any other questions from anybody, or do you guys have some closing thoughts? Or
Hi,
Yeah,
so this is Araceli. I just wanted to share that you all should have gotten an email from the Pima County Reentry Coalition on an upcoming job fair for people who have been previously justice involved out of the Pima County Pima County Probation Office. So Jennifer's been working with Melissa on those that they're having quarterly. Also, we have rescheduled our reentry simulation at the federal prison for February 22nd. So I'll be sending a little recruitment for folks, those who previously volunteered, but anybody else that's new. And can I tell you great information today? Yes, Scott. Scott, it's good to see you again. I'm just happy to hear that we just such great resources that are occurring in the community and the resource sharing. So make sure you guys continue to let people know that we are meeting on a monthly basis.
Hey there, this is Jen. Thank you, Araceli, for the plug. We do have our upcoming Second Chance hiring event at the Pima County Adult Probation Office. That will be on February 8th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Pima County Adult Probation Office. If you have any other community resource partners or employers who'd like to be included, we have plenty of space. Please reach out to me and I'll get the information over to those folks. So thank you.
perfect. Thank you. That's great. Okay. Anything else that people have a question about, or can we have Marley say a few things at this point about her program? Or
Sure.
Fresh Start. Wait. Fresh Start. Is Tom or Demond here with us on Fresh Start Expo?
I'm here.
No, good, Tom. Okay. So you want to talk about some of the next steps that's happening?
I can only touch on it a little bit. Dr. Holt is in conversations with Maricopa County. He's already spoken to the judges there, and we're set to do an event up there for 2024. We'll also be doing the event at the convention center for Tucson, but we're moving into Maricopa County, and we've already got organizations that have got on board, and the judges as well, and a very large prison organization up in Phoenix that's been around for a really long time is going to be very, very helpful.
That is so fabulous that the judges are really picking up and wanting to do this for folks.
Well, we had a few of them that came down to last year's event, and they sat through the day. And we had a few of the organizations that were from Maricopa County that sat through the event, and they were stunned, and they want to do it up there. And they're really excited, and they're already looking for venues and ways to make it happen this year. So it may not be as big as ours down here, but it's a start. And if we can get into all the counties of Arizona, then we can get over 200,000 people voting who don't have their voting rights. right? And I mean,
That's
hey,
right.
if you're gonna let ex offenders vote, you better start treating the people that are in there better,
Oh,
because that's a voting block that can change things.
what a
So I
good
mean,
point.
right, and groups like this are changing their attitude toward authority, because groups like this are coming, like at the orientation every week that we do at the prison. They are believing that people are actually there to support them, and not everything is set against them. So I mean, we are changing hearts and minds, uh, slowly but surely. And like the guys were talking about, the lived experience, the more people that we have with lived experience, like going there on Tuesday and talking to those gentlemen and those women that are being released from the prison into Pima County, and them telling their story of their lived experience in the prison, as I do. And it's so valuable for those individuals to understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's standing in the front of the room. And so when they see that they are valued in that way, it changes how they approach their future.
That's great.
But that's about all we got going. I mean, we're going to start up early. We start Friday. The first board meeting is getting together, and we're going to start working on everything. We're hoping to put together a worship event in March or May. Sorry, in May. A citywide worship event for Fresh Start and for anybody with
Oh,
a justice involved past. We're still looking for venues and stuff like that, like the Demeester Center or Kennedy or Copa or something like that, where we can just get a whole bunch of people together and just celebrate. I mean, I got my rights back. I'm going to vote this year for the second time in my life. And that's because of all these people on this call who have hearts that believe that we should have a future, and that you shouldn't have to keep looking at our past in order to see our future. So it's just an absolutely beautiful thing that's transpired in this last year with the programs that have been initiated. That in for Tucson, if I can add, we're having a blessing breakfast on Friday the 26th at the El Conquistador, where we give free breakfast to all first responders and elected officials, and we pray over them, and we engage with them. And I mean, Aaron and you guys, you should be there. I mean, because it's a connection with people that are in those positions that we need help with. So yeah, working together and locking arms. A lot of people have done what they've done for 30, 40 years, and nothing has gotten done. Now, when we're locking arms, we're getting stuff done, and people are starting to believe that we can get stuff done.
yeah,
So,
that's
hey,
great.
man, I'll get off my soapbox.
Good stuff, Tom. Really good stuff. Thank you so much. And it's so exciting to know that the judges are really changing their attitudes and that they're curious about what works for people to get them to get those um, their records, those legal entanglements cleared up and straightened out so they can get housing, so they can get
Right.
food, so they can get a job. Forgot.
Right. And the beauty of it is there's so many other organizations that have been getting on board this year with jobs and felony friendly employers. And the housing is just a huge issue, because the halfway houses are, hit or miss, whether you're going to get into a place that is forward thinking, or it's a place that just thinks about going back to the cage. So
Wow.
there's so many different areas that we have to address.
Yeah, that's great. Well, hey, and so I guess you want to hear from Marley too. Maybe there's some ways that you can
Absolutely.
get into that 17,000. So Marley,
Absolutely.
tell us what the good word is from community care and
Yeah.
to unite us.
Yeah, I've been working with For Tucson, so I'm hoping that you all will come on soon. Yeah, so hi everyone. It's good to see some familiar folks on. And for those of you that don't know me, I am a network success manager with an organization called Unite Us that's a part of the Community Cares Network. I won't go into super in depth what I do today, but Linda and Miranda have kindly invited me in March to give a more, thorough presentation about, what the Community Cares Network is. But I just wanted to hop on today to speak for a few minutes to kind of give you a teaser, and then hope that folks will come and in March. But I just wanted to let you all know, so the Community Cares Network here in Arizona, it's being funded by Access in the state, right? And it's kind of a collaboration between mostly Contexture, which is the state's health information exchange, and also my organization, Unite Us, which is the software that powers the network. And the idea behind this actually started with trying to address people's holistic health, right? That's why Access is actually behind this, because not only is, people's physical health important, going to the doctor, things like that, there's also these other pieces of people's health called social determinants of health that greatly influences people's health outcomes. And those social determinants of health have to do with a lot of the things that you all are involved with, right? Housing people, do they have housing? Access to education, access to jobs, what is their spiritual connection or community connection? All of these different things like influence a person's health outcomes. And so the idea in the state of Arizona was to build this network that brings organizations across sectors onto one platform so that they can make referrals directly to each other for clients in need. And so my main role in this is bringing on community-based organizations who are often providing these kind of social care pieces of health that we're talking about. And so I work with many nonprofits, organizations, government organizations, LLCs. Really, we all work with anyone who's providing services to the community in some form. It doesn't matter what those services are. But the idea is to, when you join the network, you'll be able to make referrals directly to another organization, other organizations that are on the network, so that people don't kind of get lost in the cracks. And so that you have a direct connection between the other organization to know what happened to that client as well. So everyone has insight on what happens to someone when they get referred out. And it's also a really great tool, the Community Cares Network, for knowing what services are available in your community. There's a My Networks tab where you can see all of the different services and organizations that are available for different things in your community. So if you're trying to refer someone out, like I know a lot of people in reentry, I've done reentry work myself, you're looking to connect people to services, right? And so you can make referrals out very easily and find those services that are available in community through the platform. So the final thing I'll just mention is Linda has referred to this incentive that we have for community organizations to come on to the network. So it is, at this point, the incentive is actually increased in the new year. So organizations are now able to earn up to $17,000 for coming onto the network. 4,000 of those dollars are upfront just for joining the network, unrestricted funding. And the idea behind that is that, because a lot of these nonprofits and organizations are providing such important services in the community, but they can't be reimbursed for those services because they're not health services, right? We want these organizations to still be able to take more referrals and be able to take on more clients and be able to support that in some real way. And so that's what that incentive is supporting, is that kind of switch to a new technology, paying for people's time. There's also a technology reimbursement that's a part of that for folks to buy things like iPads, pay for internet, things like that. So,
Wow, that's great.
yeah, so hopefully that can help organizations a little bit with that. So I'm really looking forward to giving a little bit of a longer presentation to you all in March. And in the meantime, if anyone wants to reach out and learn more faster, you can always email me. I'll put my email here in the chat, or you can go and check out. I'll put our website in the chat as well for you all to just take a gander. So thank you.
And we did send out the flyer for
Perfect.
for the community cares. So they do have the flyer. People got that with the agenda. In addition to having it on the agenda, because we just think it's a wonderful program. And so many people do need to get access. I'm working with the diaper bank, and they do distribute diapers. And the diaper bank now charges for their diapers. It's not like a free thing that they just sort of pass through. So can diaper banks and people who are providing those kind of services also be included?
The diaper bank is already on. I've worked.
Well, I know for the big one, but I mean, they
Yeah.
have all those, then, we have several churches that are actually distributing
Oh,
the
yeah.
diapers, like
Yeah,
once a month or,
absolutely. Anything that, especially like on the platform right now, if folks are working with like clothing and household goods, like diaper distribution, food distribution,
yeah.
housing, like all of those are really high needs right now. So absolutely, Linda. And I work with churches as well. So if anyone wants to come my way that provides any type of service in the community, that would be great.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So everybody will be, now make sure you come to the March meeting, everybody, so we can get even more information. But a lot of you may already be on the platform by that time. If you're smart, you'll get on right away, right? We never know how long these programs will last. So, but it's a wonderful program. I'm so glad that we ran into you, that we had the opportunity to learn about it, Marley, and that you had the time today to come. I know it was sort of unplanned. You didn't think you'd have the time, but thank you for coming and for sharing the information. Okay, anybody have anything else they want to ask Marley or make a comment about today's presentations? Well, if no one else will, I want to thank everyone. These were wonderful presentations. It's so rewarding to know that the community is moving forward in such positive ways. People are so desperate for so many things. And I think today was a real push forward for people to get help. So thanks, everyone. We're only 2 minutes early, but we're going to close out now, okay? And I'm going to adjourn us. We're done now. So everybody go home and rest and relax and think about all the wonderful things that you learned today. Thank you.